Hey y'all, it's Alicia. Welcome back to Wagman 510. I have Heather on the phone. Hey Heather.
Hey y'all, welcome back.
We have a very awkward video and we are likely to cry and be a little bit uncomfortable. So just bear with us because this is going to be difficult for us. It's going to be more difficult, I think, for you, but it's hard for us too. So if we get upset, just bear with us and let us get the information out because it's not something we thought we would be doing this weekend. Um, Heather's on the call with me because, as you know, last week Deborah's Chillin' Bags made an allegation against Sabrina and pretty publicly named Sabrina K, the country crafter, scam alert. And Heather and I were very upset for Sabrina because that was a pretty awful video and we didn't see it coming. I think in retrospect, we wish that this could have been handled a little differently, but it's always easy to say that in hindsight. But anyway, needless to say, many of us stood up for Sabrina right away because we've been friends with her for a year and our interactions with her have been positive and she has fulfilled her swaps with us. She has, if she said she was sending in something for a challenge, she sent it in. We didn't have any reason to believe anything that was allegated by Deborah. And I think that the antagonism between the friendships probably didn't make it easy for us to parse anything out of what Deborah was saying. But then this was it Friday, Heather? This past Friday?
Yes, this Friday.
This past Friday, a very reliable person in our community who thought was doing something good, actually, thought that she could just resolve this because it hadn't been resolved, even though Heather and I and the rest of us had just decided to just not speak to it again. Other people were still speaking about it, and she thought she could help by contacting the police department and finding out that the burglary happened, and she could use her influence, I guess, to just sort of dispel the rumor. So she called the police, and then she contacted me, very upset, because it turns out that the police did speak with her, and they told her that in no uncertain terms did this burglary happen, and that this was not the first time that they've had this problem with Sabrina, and there was other information shared. Now, clearly, Heather and I were not on this call, so we were not privy to this information, but I contacted Heather right away, and we called the sheriff's department ourselves. Unfortunately, when we called, the sheriff had just left for a call out in the community. Now, Sabrina's likely to say, well, they probably called the wrong sheriff's department. No, folks, we didn't. We actually called both city and county, and we knew to call county because when we looked it up, we made sure that we called the one that is right near the address. And Sabrina's likely to say, well, that's not the right address. Well, that's the address that I've been using to send her money, just so you know that. That's the address she has on her ID to go pick up that money. And I still can't tell you she lives there, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Neither can Heather, unfortunately. But regardless, we can promise you this, that we gave them all the information in that phone call, but the sheriff had just left. So the sheriff of county had just left out on a call, and they were going to call us back. Over the course of a weekend, other people in our community also made calls, not just to the city department, also to the county department. They also spoke to the police department. And they also got confirmation that this situation did not occur, that this is a more than 10-year spanning problem with Sabrina. She's every time that someone has made an allegation against Sabrina, at least in my experience, and I don't know, Heather, if it's the same for you, but she says it's a mistaken identity because she has a dead sister.
Right.
Well, I can tell you that I personally looked at 10 years worth of arrest records, and she doesn't have a twin sister, folks. Okay? I personally looked at the photographs and the arrest record, and I had to stop after 10 years because I got so upset. Heather has also looked at the records. Almost all of them are for something I didn't know what it meant. It's called a cold check. I didn't know what that was. My husband had to look it up because we don't have any experience with this. But basically, and he's also here in case I get this wrong, it's something like writing out a check for that either you don't have an account for or never had an account for, or it's something that you write it. It's not just writing a bad check, folks. It's not like you wrote a check and it bounced. It's like you wrote a check knowing that account didn't exist or wasn't in your name. And and there's identity theft and fraud and deception and all sorts. This is, I think Heather put it best. It's like, folks, we've been duped. I particularly feel used because I'm the one that made the video. I'm the one that said, hey, help out. We've done it. And this is why I'm so upset. We've done this so much this year, right? We've helped so many people that have genuinely needed help. And I guess I'm feeling today like I got used, or all of us got used, but I particularly got used to take advantage of people. And
we would never participate in any such thing in our community.
No, never. And we didn't even believe it. Like, you have to understand this, that Heather and I were like, we're loyal people. The last thing we wanted to do was make a phone call to the sheriff's department. Trust me, it's not something we wanted to do. And at the worst case, we thought in our mind is that this was somehow like a lie that got out of hand. We were trying to figure out, why would she do this? Maybe she was embarrassed. She didn't have enough money. We went through every possible scenario, folks. And then we find out that this has been going on for 10 years or longer. I just stopped at the 10 years because I couldn't read it anymore. This is not about a lie that got out of hand. There is no dead sister, I don't think, folks. And there's certainly the people in the pictures that we looked at are not a dead sister. It's Sabrina. All of us have been really badly taken advantage of. Financially, emotionally. We don't know what to do. Heather and I, we put another call into the sheriff's department to ask for advice. Sabrina already has $500 of the money. Thankfully, she does not have the other $100 and something. So we need to know from the sheriff what we do. Like my husband was saying, like, what do we do? Do we return? How do we return what hasn't been sent? And what do we do about the $500 she has? Like, we don't even know. I left another message. Go ahead, Heather.
Nor do we know how anyone could go about getting gift cards or Amazon cards because that went over and above the GoFundMe also.
Right. So anyone who sent an Amazon card or a gift card, you have to report it or ask for it back. My husband had this very nice idea where he's like, send Sabrina a photograph of the proof that you have and just ask her to give back the money to everybody. But then we're also like, every time that someone has ever confronted Sabrina, she's just gotten ahead of it and made up 1,000 reasons why. Deborah, I'm not sorry for my immediate loyalty to my friend. I want to be upfront with that. I'm not sorry about that. Because in my head, Sabrina was my friend. Clearly not my friend or anyone else's friend. I don't even know this person. And I don't mean I don't know this person. I mean there is nothing she has told me that is true. So I'm not sorry that I was loyal to somebody that's supposed to be my friend. I'm not sorry about that.
Right.
I'm just sorry that I wish we could have just done this a different way so that we would know faster. Yeah, my husband says, just tell them. Like, now I'm like, my belief in humanity gets squashed with this, right? Like, there's two things. Yeah, right, Heather? Like, it's sort of like, look, we spent all this time with each other, and, I get it that this is online and anyone can say anything, but I don't do that. I come on here and I tell you guys the truth. And I don't expect that everybody tells the truth all the time. I'm not that naive, folks. But this is not the same thing.
No, this was a very elaborate scheme.
So, like, part of me is like, makes me think, I said this to my husband, like, part of me was like, maybe I should just never be online again. And then I think to myself, like, this is crazy. Look at all the good people we've helped this year. Look at all the good we've done. Right? Letitia, you wouldn't have your die cutter. Nilda wouldn't have a die cutter. What about everybody who helps everybody? But I don't blame anybody for never helping again. And I mean that sincerely, and that's coming from me. I'm the first one, you guys know that believes in supporting everybody. But honestly, I get it if you never support again. I totally get it. Because that's what something like this does. Right? It makes you say, I'm sorry, I can't believe that this person's telling the truth. And I said to Heather, I think the worst loss from this is exactly that. The worst loss is that there are going to be genuine people in need that aren't going to get help now.
Right.
So if you pardon?
Sorry, there could also be people in the community that still don't believe all of these things.
Yeah.
And so if they'd like to reach out, I suggest reaching out.
Yeah. So what Heather's saying is, you still may watch this and be like, I don't believe it. I believe Sabrina. Her two other closest friends on here suddenly have lost their minds, people. I have to tell you, this is the hardest video. We both were going to throw up before we made it. And we tried doing it on video so we could both be here. This is not a video we wanted to make, ever. But you can reach out to us if you want confirmation. We're not going to come on here and like try to shame her in the sense of we won't read you the 10 years worth of allegations, but we have proof if you want it. And if you're not sure if you're not sure what to believe, then contact us and we'll provide you with proof. And you also can just call the police department. Deborah was right. You can call a police department and you can speak to them. They're inundated with crafters calling. My husband thinks that's the funniest thing out of the whole thing, is that they're wondering why 100 crafters are calling there. But you can call them. And Deborah gave you one number, but you also can call the county office directly at 606-256-2032. And you can speak to the sheriff, or you can leave a message for the sheriff. There's a Sheriff Shannon you can speak to. And you can ask the questions yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take Heather's word for it. You don't have to believe what Deborah said. You yourself can call and find out. If you did send an Amazon card, because I know at least of 2 friends in our circle who did, I think you got to report it. Either ask Sabrina for it back, and if she doesn't return it to you, report it. I'm going to get some advice on what I do now in terms of the money that's already gone to her, and what I do with the money that hasn't gone to her, and how we deal with this, because I don't know legally. I've never had anything like this happen in my life. I have no idea what to do. Heather doesn't know what to do. Our husbands don't know what to do. Hopefully the sheriff knows what to do. Can you think of anything else, Heather, that I may have missed?
No, I think we covered everything. I just encourage everybody to reach out if they have the smallest shred of a question. Yeah. This is by no means a witch hunt, and we would never do that to another person.
No. Not even.
Again, Sabrina was our friend. She's the only person I answer the phone for, and now that trust and friendship has been thrown in the garbage.
Yeah, I think for both of us, the hardest thing is that we considered her to be a good friend.
Right.
Yeah. And nothing she told us was true. Nothing. Makes you question everything. The back surgery, everything. Everything. Folks, be careful. Just be very careful, please. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Be patient with us, guys. We're hurting. So just be patient. If I'm slow and responding, it's not because I don't want to. I will respond. It's just this has been really hard. Okay? But harder for you. And I'm so sorry. I feel, again, I want to say this to each and every person. I'm just really sorry, because I would never knowingly do anything, as y'all know. but I still got used to do something. And I know it's not my fault, but I feel really badly. So I'm sorry. All right, y'all. That was a hard video. Please make sure that other people know so that no one gets hurt. Okay? All right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye for now.